to be more humble about what we claim to be true. It is well and good to confess the Bible as the Word of God, so it is. Our theology, which is, let's not forget this ever, our attempt to put the Bible into our own categories, is not the Word of God. This book reminds us that the two-option approach so popular in our world today, two options that are held with utter certitude by both sides, is not always the right one. Sometimes, in fact, there is a third way, a way that might not be so cocksure and certain, but just might be, here I stand, so help me God. Finally, the book you are listening to right now is from a scholar who not only knows his stuff, my technical expression for a brilliant scholar, but who loves God and loves God's church. This book is not some highbrow book designed to prove how much a scholar knows. This book is for anyone who knows that deep inside there are often middle ways, a third way, another option, one that gets beyond the polarities and finds common ground that both sides are neglecting. Bless you, Roger, for this fine book. Scott McKnight, Carl A. Olson Professor in Religious Studies, North Park University, Chicago, Illinois. Introduction. Who's an evangelical, and what does conservative mean? As long as I can remember, I've considered myself both evangelical and an evangelical. As an adjective, evangelical means being committed to the gospel of Jesus Christ, which is supposed to be good news. To me, it always has been unqualified, unconditional good news that Jesus Christ shows the loving heart of God by dying on the cross so that sinful men and women can be saved and enjoy a relationship with God now and into eternity. As a noun, evangelical means a person who belongs to a large and diverse community of people who are similarly committed to the good news of Jesus Christ. Of course, there's more to being evangelical than that, but the gospel lies at the core of the matter. After all the wrangling over who is truly evangelical and an evangelical, I'm tempted to say anyone is an evangelical who is sincerely, passionately committed to the gospel of Jesus Christ as that is conveyed to us through the inspired narratives of the Bible. Another way of putting it is that anyone is an evangelical who is a God-fearing, Bible-believing, Jesus-loving Christian. I know that won't satisfy some people who want the label evangelical to mean more, but I've become satisfied with this broad definition. Shifting evangelical labels. I used to think of myself as a conservative Christian, though I never thought of myself as a fundamentalist. Let me explain. In my past, conservative Christian was part of being evangelical. If a person was committed to the gospel of Jesus Christ, she was expected to take a generally traditional approach to interpreting the Bible and confessing Christian doctrines. A fundamentalist, on the other hand, was someone who elevated minor Christian beliefs and matters of opinion to the status of dogmas and defended them militantly against all compromises with secularity and liberal thinking. Especially after World War II, fundamentalists were those conservative Christians who considered Billy Graham dangerously liberal because he welcomed Roman Catholics and mainline Protestants to cooperate in his evangelistic crusades. Other conservative Christians, however, were simply evangelicals who embraced the ministry of Billy Graham and tended to be somewhat more relaxed in their attitudes toward doctrine and ecumenical cooperation than were fundamentalists. I learned these categories, evangelical, conservative, fundamentalist, in college and seminary, and held on to them for many years. They served me well as I attempted to categorize and describe the blooming, buzzing confusion of American Christianity. Let me illustrate. I grew up participating in a large, interdenominational organization called Youth for Christ. There, I rubbed shoulders with fellow students of many Protestant denominations and even a few Roman Catholics. We shared a common commitment to the gospel of Jesus Christ and were all passionate about having a personal relationship with Him, which included quiet times, daily devotions, Bible study, regular worship, and witnessing, sharing the gospel with others and inviting them to be saved. We were all evangelicals and, for the most part, conservative in our beliefs and morals. We didn't talk about politics or social issues.